Hi, my name's Aaron. I just had a microdiscectomy yesterday. I've had sciatic pain for about a year. I believe that I herniated the disc during a workout at the gym, although not too sure because it wasn't an instant pain. But first of all, I just thought I pulled a muscle. Turns out I had a trapped sciatic nerve. Went a few months just stretching it, thinking I just pulled a muscle and I could work it out. Eventually went to the doctors and they were pretty convinced I'd slipped a disc. Had an epidural injection into the spine, which after about 7 days did work, and then it just slowly got worse. Then I had two more of those who just went the same way. I was offered surgery before that, but I was told I could have up to 3 epidurals, so I had all 3 of them. That's a fairly simple procedure, not too painful. Just means you get to lie around a bit once you've had the injection into your lower spine, but worth a try. Unfortunately, that didn't work for me, so I went for the surgery. Um, I I admit now I wasn't in the worst pain. There's probably loads of people out there who have a worse condition, who were in more pain. I used to get really agonizing pain sometimes, but I could live with it. Unfortunately, working in the fitness industry makes it very difficult when you can't do sit-ups or simple exercises. So I had to change my job. But the whole time I was processing this through the epidurals and onto the operation, I really had to change what I was doing, and it was impacting my life. Like I said, I'm not in the worst pain. There are people out there who are probably suffering a lot more than me and could do with this operation too. But fortunately, given my circumstances and the images from the MRI showed that it was impacting enough and infecting my life enough. I've got 2 children, which obviously is very difficult to run around, bend down to pick them up. So it was decided that I could be eligible for the operation. When I eventually went round to discussing it and they said, yeah, they can give me the go ahead, I agreed to go for the op. I was told 6 week recovery, and I thought, yeah, okay, I can believe that. But now I've looked online. I'm looking at people who are still recovering years afterwards. Some people saying they can't lift things for months, and that put me a bit off having the op, knowing it's not just 6 weeks and then get back to normal, just slowly build up your life. So as it was yesterday, checked into the hospital for the operation. Little annoyed. They 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 didn't really go through the whole surgery with me. A couple of months ago, they described roughly what they do. They gave me some information, but to be honest, I was hoping that they'd sit down with me beforehand, go through the routine. I was pulling my hair out. I was so scared. I had no idea. I've never had general anesthetic before. I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't like the idea of being unconscious when something so important's going on. I know it's necessary, but I had no idea what would be happening to me, where I'd be, who would be there, and what it would be like when I came round. I hear everybody has a different experience, which doesn't really give you much to work on. As it was, I was kind of encouraged to go into the theatre, crying all the way. I was such a baby, but it just really didn't feel comfortable, and they didn't make me feel comfortable either. When I woke up, the really worrying thing was I couldn't feel my leg, and that's when I really panicked. But I was still coming round out of the anaesthetic. It turns out, luckily, that they had put these cuffs, inflatable cuffs, on my legs, on my calves, and that was to discourage getting DVT, deep vein thrombosis. But I doubt I was going to have that anyway. But when I woke up and I couldn't feel my leg, I went crazy. I was furious. I was still a bit groggy, but I couldn't feel my leg. I thought something had gone wrong. And they hadn't told me they were going to do that before the operation. Why they weren't going to tell me I'd have that on my legs, I don't know. And so that was really worrying. But luckily, it was never nothing. The only problem I have had is since the operation, I find it really difficult to pee, and I am so thirsty. I had the op yesterday around about 4 o'clock, and I've drunk so much, so much. I've just been drinking all the time. But when I go to pee, I can only pee when I'm really busting. There was talk of getting a catheter fitted, which I wasn't really looking forward to, but it just turns out I can just pee just enough. But at the moment, I'm still wondering whether I should have done the surgery or not. I wasn't in the worst agony. I learnt to live with it. I was actually dealing with pain and not realizing I was in pain most of the time. I got so used to it. So my recovery, as soon as I came round from the general anaesthetic, I was furious because I couldn't feel my leg. I waited for a little while whilst people left me alone, and I just got out of bed. I just got myself dressed and went for a little walk. Not to the pleasure of the staff there, who were very surprised to see me walking around and so active and so awake. I didn't feel groggy, I didn't feel ill, I didn't feel any pain either. The only feeling I had was a slight ache in my back, like I'd been digging, doing lots and lots of digging. It was that sort of pain. So it was really odd for me because I was expecting to be nauseous. People say you feel sick, you feel really tired and groggy, but I know it does change person to person. But I had nothing. I felt fine, and the staff there were really concerned about me. Kept saying, "Don't get out of bed." I am terrible. I cannot rest. I cannot keep still, and I was still really nervous and anxious as well because I didn't know what was going on. So I didn't know what to expect. Didn't know how long to get out. I was also really hungry. Obviously, you can't eat before you have a general anaesthetic, and I was starving and really thirsty. So they got me some drink. Eventually, they bought me out a sandwich, which I couldn't eat because my throat was so dry, I was so dehydrated. Apparently they stuck a tube down my throat as well. Again, that would have been nice to know before the operation. And it's just, eventually I had some soup which helped. And I was walking around loads. There was other people who had the same operation and they're limping around the ward. Now I'm not bragging here, but that's what I was expected to be doing. Shuffling my way around. As it was, I was walking around fine, had a bit of stretch. And I don't think they liked the fact that I was walking around so much because I was so bored. I just wouldn't keep still, just walking up and down the ward, and felt fine. This morning, which obviously is a day after my op, I was up and I went for an hour's walk, which I don't think the staff were happy with either. I was told to walk as much as I feel comfortable. And I felt fine. So I did. I just went out I had a cup of coffee and I strolled around the grounds there. It was a nice place there, hospital, nice bit of green, countryside to look at, and I went for a little walk round. I felt fine. Just had a little stretch every now and then. So if anyone's worrying about the different responses, you'll only ever really hear about the bad things on the internet because people only feel they have to give the bad news. So far, minimal complications. I've started to be able to urinate a bit better now. It turns out because I wasn't taking painkillers, because I wasn't in that much pain, the doctor thinks that that's what stopped me from urinating. So I'm taking painkillers now, even though I don't really feel I need them, but it's always good to. Saying that, this evening I have noticed the swelling on my back really come up. It feels very bruised and yeah, pain is starting to kick in. I'm just worrying now if I'm going to have a long recovery and how long. It'd be great to know if people out there, what sort of things they're able to do. At the moment, I'm doing as much as I can, and I feel quite lucky that I'm not suffering as much as some people will. But I'm still very anxious as what will happen. So hopefully, I'll be able to find out how things go. The pain medication I'm on at the moment, I don't think I really need. So hopefully, I won't need to. I just have something for when the pain's worse. And I've been trying doing some stretches, exercises, and so forth. But the swelling's so bad down there at the moment that when I do stretch, it just feels like I'm gonna rip my stitches back open. Anyway, that's enough about that. I'll probably post another video at some point in a few days time or in a week's time or so, just to see how I'm going. But it's been quite a good experience. I can actually feel that it's alleviated some pain, but I know it won't happen overnight, won't happen real quickly. Hopefully, guys, if you're thinking of having this surgery, ask loads of questions. Don't leave any blanks. Ask to go from detail to detail, every minute detail, because you're going to need to know this, so there's no surprises like I had. And I don't want anyone stressing out like I did. I was terrible. I felt sorry for the staff there because I was such a nervous wreck. I've made up with them and that, and in the end, it's not as bad as it is. But I do feel a bit anxious. But there you go. So till next time. Bye.